breaking news from KXAN News.
That breaking news this morning, Austin firefighters on this scene in North Austin at a pawn shop fire. We have our crew out there right now and want to go to that live picture. This is from across the street. The Austin Fire Department getting there around 2 this morning. Our crew there says the flames are out, but you can see smoke is still coming out of the building, water going down on top of it. And we want to show you what it looked like earlier when it was really going. That building now at the risk of collapse. With road construction there were some major problems. The division chief with AFD telling us his team ran into issues fighting the flames. There are a lot of fire hydrants that are out of service, making those firefighters resort to just one hydrant. Crews also had trouble getting into the building.
Due to it being a pawn shop, the way that they secure their building was a challenge. There's a limited number of doors to the building, so that is a challenge as well.
AFD says the building was empty and no one was hurt as a result of this.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Well, good Thursday morning. Let's start with a look at clouds and radar. Nothing in the way of precipitation. We are dry. We do have quite a bit of cloud cover out there as seen from satellite, but we're also fighting some gusty winds out of the north. You can see on our Ally Medical Emergency Room camera there in Bastrop that those winds are kicking. And unfortunately, with that cold air in place, that cold air that came a little bit earlier than anticipated yesterday, it didn't reach those 70s, obviously, but that cold air and that wind is giving us wind chills in the 20s this morning. You want to make sure you've got that warm coat with you, not only this morning, but through the day today, because our temperatures really won't go that far. From the 30s this morning, only looking at temperatures in those mid 40s this afternoon. We will be looking at more clouds than sun from start to finish as well. So it's a chilly finish to the week, both today and tomorrow. Temperatures falling short of normal. Got your weekend forecast. That does include a small warm up and a widespread freeze. When do we have to work and worry about that? Because it's been a little bit since we've seen widespread low 30s. I've got that answer for you coming up in your first warning forecast. Tom?
Thank you, Kristen. It was an emotional day at the state capitol. We heard from family members whose loved ones were murdered by people out of jail on bond for another crime. It's part of an effort to create bail reform, one of Governor Greg Abbott's emergency items. And KXAN's Dylan McKim shares some of those stories and how they could lead to a change in state law.
These two women made the drive from Houston to Austin to share their stories of loss.
Killed on her way to dinner on Valentine's Day. She was strangled to death.
They are part of a group of family members who lost loved ones to someone who was out of jail on bond. According to Houston Crime Stoppers, in the past 4 years, 162 people in Harris County have been killed by someone who was out on 1 or 2 bonds. That's home for April Aguirre and Alexis Nungare, and they want it to change.
Can I paint it?
April's niece, Arlene, was killed on Valentine's night 3 years ago, shot while in the car with her family. This is video of her family creating her last handprint in the hospital. April says her accused killer bonded out of jail before Arlene's body was released from the hospital.
In her name and in her honor, we're going to continue to fight to make things easier for the next victim and more difficult every single day for those that want to commit crimes against people.
Her mother, Alexis.
The governor highlighted Alexis during his State of the State. Her 12-year-old daughter, Jocelyn, was raped and killed. The two men accused were in the country illegally.
The victims' families are left to deal with a lifetime of suffering and sadness and grief when they still get to possibly get released, and that's just not okay.
State Senator Joan Huffman proposed a package of bills that addresses bail reform. She says her bills will only apply to the most dangerous offenses.
This is about targeted, violent offenders who have been released multiple times.
This is serious stuff. This is life and death.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says these bills will pass the Senate next week, and he's prepared to play hardball to make sure they become law.
We will not leave here until these bills pass the House. Period.
In Austin, I'm Dylan McKim.
This morning, there's growing backlash against stores that started eliminating or rolling back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Latino leaders are calling for a boycott of these big stores. The moment is known as Latino Freeze, and as Damian Trujillo reports, activists are leading the charge.
The idea of a Latino freeze is growing. The idea is for Latinos to stop shopping at big stores and restaurants like Target, Walmart, and McDonald's, places that recently rolled back their DEI programs. The move followed similar action by the White House and federal government.
If you don't respect our community, then, you shouldn't have our dollars.
Civil rights leader Dolores Huerta is helping lead the charge for a national boycott. Comedian John Leguizamo is also on board and is pushing for a national freeze on all shopping February 28th, calling it an economic blackout.
The call to action for the Latino freeze is targeting specific brands.
Dr. Caroline Chen is professor at San Jose State School of Business. Dr. Chen says that Latinos make up $3.5 trillion in buying power, meaning this isn't an idle threat. But she also notes a successful boycott would need to be a prolonged one, lasting longer than a month.
If it was 2 months, 3 months, 6, et cetera, maybe then you'd make significant inroads to hurting those particular companies economically.
Shoppers we spoke with are buying the call for a Latino boycott.
I support the Latinos people, the migrant people that come to work.
We reached out to Target for reaction to the boycott, but have not heard back. Huerta says the time to act is now.
And the least we can do is send a message to Donald Trump's backers. You know what? If you don't want to support our community, then our community is not going to support you.
Still leading the charge for diversity, equity, and inclusion at 94.
Good morning. President Trump has reversed a Biden-era decision on plastic straws. You can now use them in federal buildings again. Environmentalists worry it is a move in the wrong direction. Advocates say plastic straws and plastic pollution are already a crisis. Say a garbage truck full of plastic enters the ocean every minute. And a volunteer in North Carolina at the Bonehenge Whale Center says plastic is consistently being found in marine and coastal wildlife.
Whether it's a shark or a seabird or a whale or fish, they are all turning up with plastics.
The White House says the campaign for paper straws has resulted in significant costs for both the government and private industries.
Valentine's Day is Friday, and today we're going to tell you how you can go sustainable with Valentine's cards. Vernon Effenberger from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is the information specialist of the Take Care of Texas initiative. Vernon, thanks for being with us today. Can you tell me how a Valentine's card can be sustainable?
Sure. You can conserve natural resources and take care of Texas by recycling any cards you may receive along with the envelope and along with any other paper scraps that you would normally recycle. But another option is you can save and download our digital Valentine's Day cards and send them out via email, text, or social media. But if you do send them out via social media, feel free to tag us. We'd love to see what you're sending.
Who designed them? I saw them on the website, the Take Care of Texas website. Who designed these?
The TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, they designed and produced them. We thought that marrying the ideas of Valentine's Day and preserving the Texas environment would be a great way to celebrate the holiday and kind of bring some attention to the ideas of conservation.
There are some very interesting messages in some of them as we continue to show them to our viewers. Now, again, how can people get them?
If you search, if you go to takecareoftexas.org and use the search feature for Valentine's Day, you'll find the blog with our cards in them. I think there's about 24 of them, actually.
Yeah, there were a lot of them.
Yeah, and you can download those and distribute them as you see fit. I think as long as you save some love and Valentine's Day, save some of that love for the Texas environment, I think that would be the best thing that we could do. The Take Care of Texas team just wants to wish everyone a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Is there a charge for the cards?
No, the cards are quite free.
And one more time, give our viewers the web address.
It is takecareoftexas.org. We hope to see you there and hope you can take some time to spend some time on our website.
That'd be a fun little Valentine's Day idea. All right, let's talk about sports. Some names lead to great expectations when it comes to the world of sports. Arch Manning is among them in football, or Jameer Nelson Jr. in the world of basketball. KXAN's Noah Gross has Nelson's story.
Playing without a smile on your face, a big no for Jameer Nelson Jr.
I'm supposed to be an energy guy, and I'm a smaller guy, so I can't be coming around like somebody's gonna pick me top 5 regardless of how I act. So I gotta definitely come in with the right energy.
He's the oldest of 4 with 3 younger sisters who all love softball, 2 of which play in college and apparently control the remote at home.
I'm a fan, but I'm oversaturated. I know all the players, I know the team's tendencies, I know who pitches fast. I should know all this stuff. I don't watch it.
Father of this athletic family, Jameer Nelson Sr., 14-year NBA veteran and former All-Star who definitely did not force basketball onto his kids. Junior's main focus was baseball until one summer in high school.
But I always would be messing around kind of on the court, and so my dad would always tell me, don't come around here without tying your shoes. If you're gonna come in here, don't be BSing around. So I came in there, and I was working out with them every day, and they killed me for a whole summer.
Nelson started his college career playing at George Washington, just happy to be getting a free education, very unsure of his future in the sport.
I didn't know that I could honestly be good until I went to Delaware.
Nelson transferred to Delaware in the middle of his sophomore season at GW because of some turmoil within that program, and he had to sit out the rest of that year. That was hard on his mental health. He had to really build himself back up with the help of Pops.
My dad was like, if you want to suck at home, you could have just stayed and sucked into your dorm and stuff like that. So I was just like, that kind of reset it.
2 impressive years at Delaware and then a final year at TCU that left him fully chasing this journey in basketball and signing as an undrafted free agent with the Spurs after college. That's a long way from basketball being his secondary sport to now his job.
You have to want it every day, and you kind of got to just pick it up again every day, and even if you don't want to, if you're tired, you're sore, because this really is a job, and you got to take it serious.
And he is just very much enjoying it along the way. Noah Gross, KXAN News.
Sometimes you need a little tough love from Dad.
Sure, absolutely.
I was talking to my dad on the phone yesterday, and there's a generation where there's no self-pity or sulking allowed.
Yeah, it's tough enough.
Exactly.
This is
Buttercup.
life. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But listen, they know best, right? They typically know best.
Let
me show you what's going on outside this morning. Hey, clouds and radar are showing a lot of clouds as seen from satellite, but not seeing anything in the way of rain. In fact, our visibility looks much better this morning than it has all week. Our West Shore home camera looking out from Austin, the studios, we've got a camera up on top, and it's showing a crystal clear view of our skyline. But you're noticing temperatures this morning in those 20s and 30s, 34 Austin, 29 Burnett, 33 in Fredericksburg. It's a shock to the system. It is cold out there, and this is what the thermometer is showing you as we're very close to freezing here in Austin. That wind that we have still at about 15, 20 miles per hour, bringing our feels like temperatures, our wind chills down to the 20s. 45 degrees this afternoon. That's it, with more clouds than sun, and that northeast wind going to continue at about 10 to 15 miles per hour for most of the day, but the wind gusts closer to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. You're noticing through the day those clouds are going to stick around, but not likely to see anything in the way of significant rain. We got that out of the way yesterday morning. Anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch out of yesterday's morning storms. And the reason why yesterday was such a bust is because that cold air that we were anticipating to move in last night came in the middle of the day. So unfortunately, we didn't reach those 70s because the earlier arrival. We got stuck in the 50s. It was a busted forecast, but we learn, we move on, we get ready for the next one. The next cold front, next cold surge arrives this weekend. So although the weather today is going to be relatively quiet, it's still quite chilly. And I have included now a low chance of a couple spots of isolated rain ahead of our next cold front. So this is going to impact you for Valentine's Day. Now, I say impact only in the way of it's a 10% chance or less. It's not going to be a washout for Valentine's Day. It's not going to be heavy rain, but I can't promise you it's going to be 100% dry. Slim rain chance, mainly cloudy, 53 for Friday afternoon. Then we get into the weekend. Temperatures spike ahead of that next surge of cold air. We go from the 70s down to the 50s on Sunday with those gusty winds on Sunday as well. Keep in mind, it's not just the afternoon highs. These low temperatures also plummet 30s as we wake up tomorrow morning, briefly touching 40s. Then we're back down to these low to mid 30s getting into Sunday and Monday. What about the rain? We know temperatures are going to be all over the place. Well, the next best chance for rain looks to come in with a second cold front on next week. I'm thinking as we get into Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, that's when we're going to be on the guard here for some increasing rain chances, but it won't happen until late Monday at the earliest, more likely Tuesday, Wednesday. So highs go from the 40s today to the 70s Saturday. Cold front moves in, knocks our temperatures down. We do the same thing as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday with that cold front. And again, be on guard for some of those freezing temperatures very close this morning. We're likely to see that widespread freeze on Monday. Hey, let's take you to the Midwest area where snow in the Chicago area today is going to taper off after quite the wintry day yesterday in Illinois. Kids in the Chicago suburbs took advantage and hit a popular sledding hill, as you can see. And for some kids, it was their first time seeing snow this winter. A little bit of a delay there in the winter weather up north. And in the West, evacuation warnings and orders possible in parts of Southern California today due to the high risk of mudslides and debris flows as a powerful storm brings significant rain to the region. Officials are urging residents to prepare for several inches of rain over the next 24 hours. Karma Dickerson has more.
There's hardly a neighbor in sight in many Palisades communities, but their weather preparations are on nearly every block. Sandbags, drain guards, anything to keep the water and debris flowing away from homes. Colton Foster says there was a collaborative effort to prep the community.
There were groups showing up like about 2 weeks ago before the first rain, but everything that we did last time we kind of kept in place in anticipation for more rain.
PCH, which was preemptively closed ahead of last week's rain, is now bracing for what's expected to be its biggest challenge since the Palisades fire.
We'll be on hand to assist with removal of debris so that emergency responders have a clear roadway.
The roadway has been shut down for over a week as crews work to clean up mudslides from last week's storm, shore up the hillside, and keep the road clear.
How are you feeling going into tomorrow?
Nervous, definitely nervous. Not only kind of for like landslides in our neighborhood, but my main concerns if there are landslides on the PCH that could possibly like jail us in here.
That's Karma Dickerson reporting. Neighborhoods in the Driftwood and Dripping Springs area, they are being hit with break-ins. KXAN's Sarah Alshay explains what was taken from one family can't be replaced.
Power tools are sitting right here.
About $1,000 worth of items.
4 batteries in total were taken from my stash here.
Stolen from inside Jacob and Stephanie Skelton's garage in Driftwood. While some of the items can be replaced, they say the thieves also took things that are irreplaceable.
There's just sentimental stuff of the military items that were taken. Some of the stuff I had when I was in Afghanistan. I did 2 tours in Afghanistan. There's a little patch, multicam, like a little red Scorpion of the unit I was attached to. The magazines that were actually in the kit were actually ones I carried in Afghanistan.
The family says they didn't hear when it happened, but woke up to find items missing Monday morning.
The next night, I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh, let me make sure everything is locked. And it's just scary because we also have small children.
Their home, apparently one of many in the area, hit.
Another officer showed up and they were talking and like, hey, just so you guys know, you guys aren't the only ones. This happened Sunday night all the way up through Round Rock. It's pretty widespread.
Footage taken from outside a home in Dripping Springs early Monday morning shows someone walk up and try to open the doors of 2 cars in a driveway. The Hays County Sheriff's Office says it's following up on multiple leads. The Skeltons say they moved out to this area to avoid situations like this.
This was supposed to be the forever home.
This experience, among other reasons, now causing them to move again. The family of 4 hoping to find a new place to call home. Sarah Al-Shah, KXAN News.
Now, other neighbors in Dripping Springs tell us that they'd like to see either law enforcement or the Homeowners Association add license plate readers. Hayes County Sheriff's Office says it plans on releasing more information at a later time. Sarah's report started as a tip, and if you have something that you want us to look into, you can let us know. You can use your phone to scan that QR code on your screen right now or send us an email to reportit@kxan.com. Coming up, staying healthy during a bad flu season and changing times in Washington. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for being with us. Hope you'll join us on air for that, or you can head over to our website, kxan.com.